don't ever compare yourself to other people, because that could be the biggest dream killer. Because when you compare yourself to other people's success, you'll feel like your success is not good enough, and you'll feel like not worthy of what your goals and dreams, like to follow your goals and dreams.
Welcome once again here in Swiss Made Success with Erid. And tonight I have a special guest. He's direct from Arizona, great life coach, TEDx speaker, stand-up comedian, a businessman, and a powerful motivational speaker. His name is Andres Ruiz. Welcome, Andres.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, bro.
My pleasure. So once again, I have you on the podcast. Last time I had you, I messed up the audio, so I had to have you again. So thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me again. I really appreciate it, man. And, like I said, man, I love what you're doing, making an impact in the world, and, your audience, to help them out in any way possible, is beautiful, so thank you again for having me, man.
It's really great. And I want to thank you too for your message, for sharing all the videos that you always do. I see you do also some videos with your kids. So how did that idea come?
So that idea just came from one day, my son, we were talking about like making a video on Facebook Live about helping people, helping kids. And when we were doing it, he's like, hey, subscribe and like for the YouTube channel. And I said, you want to do a YouTube channel? And he said, yeah. So we just started making videos, like stuff that I teach him, and pretty much just trying to inspire him to inspire other people himself.
That's really great. And I mean, if they learn like so young, then it's going to be easier when they grow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So try to teach him young, because this stuff that I'm teaching him, I didn't know this stuff until like I was in my late 20s. And imagine if I would have learned this stuff when I was 7, like he's 7 right now. And even my son today, my 5-year-old, was playing a video game. And then he's like, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And then he won the game, and he said, you know why I did it? And I said, why? Because I said I can do it. And I was like, okay, cool. So he's learning that too, man. So it's pretty cool.
I would like to know, how did your coaching thing started? How did you get into this world?
Yeah, definitely. So pretty much before all this, I remember that, I was working at a job that I hated. I was really depressed, anxiety daily, just thinking about going to that job. Monday mornings, I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, damn, here we go again, another Monday morning. And then I remember that at that time, I was drinking a lot of alcohol, doing some crazy stuff, taking pills while I was drinking alcohol, doing hard drugs like cocaine. At one point, I was like doing hard drugs for like 2 days straight and almost overdosed on coke. And it was a really crazy experience. And I was also overweight. I was weighing 265 pounds and was even more depressed because of my physique. And anytime I would feel down, I would turn to fast foods or anything unhealthy to make me feel better. And that made me feel even more depressed, because now I looked at myself and I was like, damn, I weighed 265. Before, I had a really fit body and I would have like a 6-pack, and I was like, what the hell happened? And so when that all happened, I remember that then I found out I was going to have a baby, and that changed my life forever. I told myself, if I don't take care of myself, who's going to take care of my son? So I immediately got on a diet, started exercising, and I lost 80 pounds. I even joined a weight loss competition. I don't want to brag, but I won, and I won $400. And when I won those $400, I was like, hell yeah, man. I went to go get some pizza and some beer, and I ate too much that day and I passed out, man. When you eat too much, when you're like really sluggish, that's how I felt. So I felt better about my body, but I still was having a lot of negative thinking when it came to the stuff, like the job that I was doing. I hated my job. And I said, man, there's got to be more to this than just this job. And so I started listening to an audio one day that a friend of mine had sent me. He said, man, you got to check this guy out. Les Brown is amazing. And I remember I was in the bathroom and I was taking a bath, and I heard Les Brown speak to my heart. He said, many people will leave the universe without a trace, and under their name, you can put not used up. And I said, damn, that's me. And when I heard that, it spoke to me. and he also said something that really resonated with me. He said, many a flower has bloomed unseen and wasted sweetness upon the cold desert air. And it translates to us as human beings that we have a lot of potential within us, but we're too scared to expose it to the universe. Why? Because we're scared of judgment. We're scared of failure. We're scared of what if it doesn't work out, or what if I get rejected? And that's why a lot of us, we keep that in us. Like I've had relatives who have passed away and they had so much talent. I mean, I had an uncle who like could tell jokes all night. And I mean, this guy could have been like one of the best comedians of all time. And he never exposed it to the universe. And I also had like, just relatives that had so much potential and they never used it, and they took it with them to the grave. And they never exposed that they were just that flower out in the desert that nobody ever saw. That beauty was never exposed to the universe. And so when I heard all these things from Les Brown, I told myself, man, I got to start doing something. And that's what led to me doing stand-up comedy. And when I started doing stand-up comedy, I still remember I would go to the comedy club and I would put on my earphones and I would be listening to Les Brown before I would get into the comedy. I had to go do my set. And then I would just listen to, you can do it, you have greatness within you. And I'd be like, yeah. And I would go up there and I would bomb, but I wouldn't feel bad. I would be like, you know what, I'm going to come back again and come back and come back. And I just kept doing it over and over again. I got better. And I really enjoyed stand-up comedy, but I told myself, I want to be like Les Brown. I mean, the guy only had a high school diploma just like me. And he was speaking to a lot of people. And when I heard him say that, I made $40,000 in 1 hour, I said, I want to do that. And I know I can do that because Les Brown has done it before. And it's like that 4-minute mile with Roger Bannister, that he ran a 4-minute mile. And before that, people thought that if you ran a 4-minute mile, your heart would literally explode in your body. Yeah. So, I mean, the 4-minute mile, then after Roger Bannister did it, there was about 37 people that did it that year. And why? Because it had been done by somebody. So now everybody else could do it as well. So I told myself, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. So when I started doing motivational speaking, I still remember I joined Toastmasters, and Toastmasters helped me out with my comedy, because in my comedy, I would cuss a lot. I would say a lot of, I don't know, I would say the F word. I would say the S word. I would say all these bad words. And those were like my crutch words. Like, when you say, so it's like, so, and my crutch words were F, mother F, this. And I got better with my comedy. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I want to do motivational speaking. I want to be a motivational speaker. And that's when I started speaking at Toastmasters, first with 4 people. Then it went up to 10 people. And then I remember one time I was watching a motivational motivational speaking contest. And there was 4 speakers that were speaking on stage, and they inspired me. And I remember I told my buddy, Fred, I was like, Fred, I'm going to be on that stage one of these days. And then 3 months later, I was on that very same stage speaking to an audience, like a huge audience, and I was competing. I came in second. But I mean, it was just a great experience to actually see myself up there. I told him, I'm going to be on that stage one of these days. And it's like Earl Nightingale. He says, we become what we think about. And I thought that I was going to be up there one day. And I told myself, I visualized myself being up there. And that is the power of visualization. When you see yourself up there, you will be up there. But you got to see it here first, and then you put it out there. Of course, you have to take action. You can't just sit there and wait for the opportunity to come to you. You have to take action. So I took the action, and then little by little, I kept speaking more. And then I got my first break as a paid gig with a person there at Toastmasters who she has a school, a charter school. And she told me, hey, like, so how much do you charge? And I said, oh, damn, like, she wants to pay me. And I didn't even know, I just came up with the price. And she said, okay, cool, like, let's do it. And I mean, to this day, I'm still speaking for her school. It's been like going on 4 years already that I've been speaking to the same school. They bring me back. We have the same, like, another contract. Hey, they enjoy me. They love me there. I love them. And that's how it got started. Like, I can get paid for this, and that's when I started speaking to more schools, for nonprofit organizations, for corporations. And then people started, that's when the whole coaching thing came along, where everybody said, hey, how did you become a motivational speaker? How did you follow your goals and dreams? And that's when I started thinking, you know what, maybe I can do some coaching. And then I got into coaching, and from there, just been coaching people, helping them with their goals and dreams. I've been doing group coachings, one-on-ones. So I've been doing a lot of coaching to just serve other people. Like today, I've had 3 sessions today, and I'm still excited, man. Like, and I still have 2 more sessions to go later on today, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped to just be serving people, being of service. And I mean, being of service right now, whatever I can do to provide to your audience, if it's one person that I can help out, I've done my job.
That is amazing. And thanks for sharing your story. That's really, really inspiring.
Thank you, man.
So now you're doing some coaching, right? And then, what's one of the biggest challenges that people face? Usually the people that you meet or people that you coach.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? It's fear. If fear at the end of the day is what's stopping everybody, nothing but fear. And it's like Les Brown says, fear is false evidence appearing real. We only make it real in our mind. And as soon as our mind says that we are in fear, it paralyzes us from taking action. And I've come across 5 fears that keep holding people back from taking action. And that's the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of stepping out of their comfort zone, the fear of not feeling worthy, and the fear of caring about what people think or say about them. And that last one right there is a huge one, because many times what happens in life, a lot of people say that, what will my family say about me? What if I do this and if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if I get rejected? What if I'm not good enough? That's another one. What if I'm not good enough? And the fear that is stopping us can be seen by a coach. The coach can come and draw something out of somebody that is in fear and makes them see the possibility of what they can do. For example, today I had a session with somebody who was thinking that they couldn't charge a certain amount of money for their coaching. But then I made them realize that, you know what, if you charge a very low amount of money for your coaching, people will always want the low amount. You got to start high, the high ticket, where people are like, you know what, yeah, this is definitely worth it. And then maybe you can start working down. And she pretty much was blocking herself from asking for the right amount of money that she wanted, because she thought that she was not ready yet. And I said, you're ready. You've already helped people with getting a job, getting 2 jobs. And she helps professionals change jobs, go to another job. And I already said, you already have the proof. It's just now you charge for what you think you deserve. And she still was doing like pro bono. And I said, you got to start charging, like eventually, if you want to make this a career. And then she said, you're right. And out of that call, she had so much clarity, and she was just excited. It was amazing, the belief that she had in herself to now do this, because I helped her with creating her offers. I helped her with the strategy that she would have to close the deal. Like, I gave her so much value, and she was like, wow, you helped me out so much. And she even told me, like, she's in a group coaching course, and she said that she got more out of the session than she did with the group coaching course. And I was like, cool. Like, I helped her out in an hour I helped her more in an hour than a coaching course that she had. And that made me feel really good. Like, that made me feel amazing.
I'm sure that's a great feeling. And many times also when I do coaching sessions also with my clients, and we see that transformation, that opening and that kind of release. You see it like in the energy of the person, like it comes in the aura of the realization, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, that transformation, there's nothing like it, because it's happening right in front of your eyes, because you're seeing them going, like, oh, when they go, or, oh, that's when the insight happens. That's when you're like, you opening up a new world for them, that they're like, whoa, I had no idea that was possible. So,
like a new paradigm, right? The new, exactly, like a new universe where to start a new thing, like you build on top of that milestone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing.
And man, when that happens, I mean, the feeling that you get by just the gratitude and the appreciation you get from these people is far better than when even getting paid. Like, yeah, getting paid, that's great. But when you're getting this gratitude and appreciation, man, I love that stuff, man. It just makes me feel good to make other people feel good.
That is really great. That's great. So one of the things that people have seen also is it also like the believe in themselves. Like that's a great challenge. So what do you think, or in your experience, why don't people don't believe in themselves, and how can they change,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
their
Well,
self-belief?
yeah. Well, you know what? One of the things is self-talk. Their own self-talk is stopping them from believing in themselves because they've been telling themselves the same thing for so many years that they feel like they're that story that they've been telling themselves for so many years. And we have to be very careful of our self-talk because our word, it creates a thought, and that creates a feeling. You take an action, you get a result. And if it's a negative result, here comes another negative thought, negative feeling, action, result. And it's a vicious cycle. We think 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. That's 3,000 thoughts an hour. If we're not taking care of our thoughts, those thoughts can make us well or they can make us sick. They can make us live in fear or they can make us live in happiness. It's really up to us. But we have to start changing those words from I can't to it's possible or I can. You see, I can even tell you, like, I have relatives who have been saying the same story for 30 years. I remember an aunt of mine, she's like, I just can't change. I'm an angry person. And I'm like, wow, you've been saying that since I was 5 years old and you're still telling the same story. So how are you ever going to change if you keep telling yourself that same story? And it not only comes from ourselves, but other people. So I used to work with this foster kid who was amazing kid, 15-year-old kid, Danny. And the kid was like, had so much potential. But I remember one time I saw him and he was crying. And I told him, hey man, what's wrong? What's going on? And he said, oh man, I was just thinking about that time my mom came home and she was drunk, she was coked out, and I was 5 years old at the time. And he said that she looked at him and she said, I would trade you for a cigarette right now. And when she said that to him, I told him, damn, like, how does that make you feel? And he says, I feel like I'm not worth anything because I'm not even worth a cigarette. In his head, because of his mother's words, who he loved, she said to him, I would trade you for a cigarette. So in his mind, he translated that word into a thought that he's not worth a cigarette. That created a feeling of sadness. He took an action of anger, sadness, and he got results of depression and anxiety. And another thought. And it's just like, imagine a kid at 5 years old being told that he's not worth a cigarette. Like, that was really, like, for him, it was a moment of like, not worthy. I'm not worthy, he said. And I saw this kid, I was like, this kid is so freaking strong. Like, I had to tell him, like, I see the good in you. I see what you can do and I believe in you. But at the end of the day, you can tell anybody I believe in you, but if they don't believe in themselves, it doesn't matter. I could tell you, hey, Erid, I believe in you, brother. But if you don't believe in you, it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, the most important opinion of you is your own. It doesn't matter what people say about you. What matters is what you say about you. And that's what happens sometimes. We translate other people's words, other people's thoughts, other people's comments, other people's opinions into our reality. And guess what? If we do agree to that, that does become our reality. And it's like that book, The Four Agreements, where Don Miguel Ruiz, he says, if somebody tells you that you sing ugly and you say you sing ugly, you just made an agreement with that person that you sing ugly, and that's called black magic. You just made an agreement that you are that person. So you got to think about whoever the hell told you that you're not good enough. You got to say, forget about them. I am good enough. And that's what really matters. Nobody else can predict the outcome of your life but you. And it's like that Les Brown when he says, one rotten apple can spoil the whole batch. One negative person can ruin your whole life. So be very careful of who you're hanging out with and who you're around. Even if it's family and they're saying to you, hey, you're not good enough or you're stupid. And then some people have told me, Oh, they're just family. You know, it's cool if they say, oh, just so because they're family, they have the right to disrespect you. Because they're family, they have the right to talk shit about you. No, you tell yourself, you know what? I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. And if you can't respect that, you know what? We got to set a boundary, maybe not see each other that much, or I'm going to have to eliminate you out of my life because it's not good for me. I mean, you got to think about it. If you're 20, 30, 40 years old and you're still dealing with that crap, you got to really start thinking about your life because it's only one life. And for me, I've had people that I just met, you know, like yourself, that probably praise me more than some family and friends do. For reals, man. It's the truth. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Always praise the good people, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that was really powerful. That was really powerful.
Yeah.
And many people like have big dreams, you know, they would like to reach some kind of dreams. These days are like influencer, like 20 years ago, 10 years ago was like a football player, or in Europe, like soccer player,
Yeah.
you know, but many people don't get to take action, or they always procrastinate. And what do you think people can do to deal with procrastination? Not like saying, hey, let me leave it for tomorrow, you know.
Oh, yeah. Procrastination, man. That's a huge one. I mean, shoot, I deal with procrastination sometimes, you know, and it's okay. But we have to know how to get back up on our feet and go at it again. So I actually taught a class, I think it was like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where I taught about procrastination. And pretty much procrastination, the reason why we keep procrastinating is because we're hard on ourselves. We're always saying, oh, I did it again. I'm so stupid. I can't believe I just procrastinated again. I can't believe I watched Netflix for 10 hours again. I can't believe I was on Facebook for 3 hours and I didn't get the work done. So what we have to do is we have to forgive ourselves and then we move on. Like actually today I had a session with one of my clients and I told him, because you know he was being hard on himself. He's an amazing guy, does a lot of great things for a lot of people. And I told him, you know what, man, this is the first step that we're gonna take. Put your hand on your heart and say and breathe in and say, I forgive myself. And he was breathing in, he forgave himself, and I said, how do you feel? I feel much better. Like just by doing that, self-forgiveness can be huge. You see, actually, you want to do something really quick, you and I right now?
Would be amazing.
Okay, cool. So this is what I like. Let's actually put your chest up like this. Do a Superman pose, like that, and then tell yourself, "I love myself," and breathe it in. So say, "I love myself,"
I love myself,
and I let go of fear.
and I let go of fear.
How do you feel right now?
Feels amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So that's the power. That's the power of your words. You know, like right now, just
Yeah.
it feels so good. That's why I meditate every day. But like I was saying, you know, for procrastination, this is just a little fun here. But for procrastination, you got to forgive yourself. You touch your heart, man, and say, you know, I forgive you on this,
I forgive you, Erid.
and I let go of stress.
And I let go of stress.
I mean, man, it just even your voice. I even felt my voice relax, and that's so
Yes.
powerful. And and that's one tip that I have for people, that forgive yourself for all the guilt, for all the self judgment. You guilt yourself, you judge yourself, you beat yourself up more than anybody else. And remember, your self talk, you got to watch it because you're always listening. So be very aware of your mind. See your mind, it's like a land. In the land, if you plant a seed of apples, it will give you apples, which is good for you. But if you plant a seed of nightshade, which is venom, it will give you venom. The land doesn't care what you plant in it, it will return venom in just as wonderful abundance as it will apples. And that's how your mind works. Plant a seed of positivity, you'll be positive. Plant a seed of negativity, you'll be negative. It's really that simple, but sometimes we make it more complicated than what it really is. So when it comes to procrastination, another thing that I like to do is I like to make sure that I have my calendar set up for the week. You know, if you don't have a calendar for the week, that means you're going to fall into other people's calendars. People are going to be like, hey, what's up, man? You want to grab a pizza? I don't know about right now grabbing a pizza. I don't know if people can do that right now, but you know, people can say, hey, you got time to talk on the phone, or you start chatting with people. You start falling into other people's calendars, other people's agendas, other people's emails, other people's texts, other people's anything. And why? Because you don't have a calendar. You don't have people, and people don't take you seriously. Even if you were to tell them right now, hey, I have my calendar set up. Yeah, right. What are you doing? I don't have a calendar. And that's what happened with me. At first, I was like, hey, man, I actually got some things to do. What do you have to do? You don't have anything to do. Come on, man. Let's come over here. Let's go drink. Let's go smoke some weed, or let's go do this. Let's go. No, I'm serious. I got stuff to do. And those people would bother me every now and then. And little by little, they were kind of like, okay, this guy's serious. And they just left me alone. And some of those people I don't even talk to anymore. And it's okay, because they're on a different journey than I am. And I respect that and I love them. But I got to love myself and take care of myself, take care of my calendar. So making sure you're writing it down and that you're actually doing it. Because if you just write it down and you don't do anything about it, you'll procrastinate and you'll fall into like watching TV, getting on Facebook, doing non-productive work, doing busy work, busy being busy. I don't know if you know who Robin Sharma is, but he talks about that. Busy being busy. So we got to be very aware that, you know what, if we're busy being busy, we're really procrastinating. Another thing that I like to do is actually my phone's over there. I never have my phone, like I rarely do have my phone next to me here when I'm doing an interview or just anything like this. But your phone, put a 50-minute timer and put it away and then get to work. Boom, 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 boom. Once the 50 minutes hits, I like to do some stretching and stretch my mind. I stretch, I do some punches, I do some push-ups, and then I get back to work. Another 50-minute timer, 10 minutes of walking. And, I stay laser focused on one thing. And that's another thing. A lot of people, they do like 10 things at the same time, and then they go from here to here to here. And it, like, for the most part, people, they finish 90% of the work and they leave the 10% for later, and then they forget about the project or they just never do it. And that's it. It never gets done. So staying laser focused on the one thing. There's a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. I think he was the one who started Keller Williams. And so he writes a book about the one thing, and it's saying that you can't chase two rabbits, because if you do, then you'll never catch any. And so you got to just stick to the one thing. And another thing that helps me out a lot is saying, just do it. I think it's W. Clement Stone, a philanthropist from like the 50s or something like that. He had a company for the insurance, and he would tell his team, say, do it now, and they would just do it. So as soon as you're about to procrastinate, you say, do it now, just do it. Hey, oh no, but I got to be with my family. No. You got to take care of business. You've been with your family all day. Go take care of business, do your thing, and do it now. Do it now. So those are a few of the tips that I use to not procrastinate. Another thing is, if you're a person that has not even started and has difficulty really concentrating, start with one little tiny habit. If you don't work out, start up with 5 minutes working out. If you want to write a book, write the title first, and then write a sentence, and then write a paragraph, and then another paragraph. And before you know it, you got a page done. So tiny steps lead to huge success.
That's some great value right there. And you said some things like I remember more clearly when you said like schedule, right? If you schedule it, you probably is going to be done. Mm-hmm. And if you take tiny actions, then probably you're going to take action. And then if you talk positively to yourself, then probably you're going to do it more than negatively, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like one of the things you said.
Yeah. And you know what? Progress equals happiness. Because if you're not making progress in life, that's what leads to us overeating. That's what leads to us to drugs, alcohol, like a lot of these things, because we're bored. And we're so bored that leads to doing a lot of self-destructive things that could lead to depression. That's what happened with me. I was just bored with life. So I just wanted to have a little bit of like a rush, by doing drugs, drinking alcohol, and forgetting about how boring my life was. And I think sometimes boredom leads us into the road of self-destruction. That's what happened to me. And that's why we got to find a why, like a reason why we want to pursue something bigger than ourselves. And we have to find something that's bigger than ourselves, because if we don't, we're always going to be focused on us. We're always going to be like, what about me? What about me? Why isn't this working for me? And we complain, and all we're doing is just making life worse for us. By complaining, you get nowhere, and nobody's going to have compassion for you, because they have to have their own problems solved. So they're not going to be over here saying, hey, Andres, like, is everything okay? Like, no, that guy's probably got bills to pay and like a family to feed. So he's not going to be over here trying to be like, are you okay? No, you got to take care of that. But that's another thing. That's why you got to have a mentor or a coach that can help you make sure that you are not being in that self-pity or procrastinating or, being in fear, having the self-doubt.
That's really huge. Talking about people around, you said before, for example, many times it's important, what we get from the surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we can do, or people can do, to get more positive people around? What kind of actions can we take?
Okay, yeah. So for me personally, I remember that I joined some clubs, like for example, Toastmasters. Those people, man, even when my speeches sucked, they would still be like, "Hey, that was great, good job, man." And they were boosting up my confidence, and I started to get more confident just by having people around me like that. And I'm also like, always working with a lot of positive people, like in the community or on social media. I have a coach that is freaking amazing. I actually have two coaches. One's a sales and one's a business coach, and they help me just to like level up and always like strive for more. And so those people, they're always praising me. They're always like helping me out. Another thing you can do, if you can't afford a coach, go on YouTube. YouTube has a lot of digital mentors, man. Digital mentors like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Robin Sharma. I could go on for days with the list. Lakiani, Lisa Nichols. I could go on with the list, and there's so many digital mentors. The thing is, like, a lot of people would rather watch some negativity where something bad is happening to somebody, and it's not serving you. It's not helping you. On the contrary, it's probably striking fear in you, because you're like, oh my God, that person just got shot. I hope I don't get shot when I go out to the mall or to the theater. It strikes fear in us. Or like if you see an earthquake, you're like, holy shit, end of the world. We start thinking of the worst things. Or like with this whole thing that's going on right now. Everybody thinks that the world's ending, but really the only world that is ending is the one that's going on in here. Out the external world, not much I can do about it. What I can do is I can serve, and I can serve myself internally by meditation, journaling, affirmations, gratitude. Working out. Man, I take care of myself every single day. The first thing that I do every morning is I take care of myself. Got to take care of yourself.
Now, that's really great. What motivates you to do what you do? Speaking, the working on yourself. What is your internal motivation?
My internal motivation is to ultimately save lives. I want to save lives because I've seen the effect that my speaking has had on people. I'll give you an example. One time I was speaking at a school, and a young girl after the speech came up to me and she told me like, hey, like I've been to 8 psychiatric homes. I've been to 5 foster homes. My family's in Michigan. I'm really depressed and I was going to kill myself tomorrow. And then she said, but because of the speech, what you spoke, like, I want to speak to somebody. I want to talk to somebody because I thought I was alone. And then we took her to the counselor, and that day, saved a life because, I just told my story. And when that happens, you're deeply touched. And not only am I saving people's lives, but at the same time, I'm helping other people pursue their goals and dreams and find their life's purpose. But at the same time, they're going to be helping other people find their life's purpose. And that's a beautiful thing because now it's like a domino effect. Everybody's boom, 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 boom. we're helping a lot of people out, not just only one person, but that one person, how many lives can they impact if we impact their lives? You know, like the confidence that we can give these people to follow their goals and their dreams and change their life, their internal world, so that their external world can come into like a realization of a meaning of life and purpose, you know?
Yes, really what I see around, like also in the modern age, we're distracted with social media, Netflixing, and so on, you know, so much technology. And it sounds to me, or maybe it's just my impression, but many people like are like kind of lost, you know. You talked about meaning, so that make me think of the next question. So how do you think people can find themselves, like who they
Oh,
really
yeah.
are?
So honestly, for me, what helped me out, and I have my vision board right there, is first of all, writing down your values. Like, what kind of man or woman do you want to be? Writing down your values. Like for me, I know that I have like, you know, I'm playful, I'm patient, I'm empathetic, I'm compassionate, I'm fearless, I'm courageous, I am love, I am service, I am gratitude, I am joy, I'm appreciation, I'm enthusiastic, I'm giving. Those are my values, and those are the values that I want to live by, not only for myself but also for my kids. I want to leave a legacy behind, and I want to make sure that they also understand the importance of values, because a lot of people, they don't have their own values, so we end up falling into other people's values. We end up acting like other people, following the follower. And that's what Earl Nightingale said. You know, you go to high school, you follow, you dress like everybody, you listen to the same music, you watch the same TV, you're the exact same person like everybody else. And then you get out of high school, you go to college, and you find another friend or somebody that was just like your friend, and they're like, hey man, you want to come work with us at this job? You go to that job, everybody's doing the exact same thing, watching the same shows, listening to the same music, trying to fit in, following the follower. And it's like we never got out of that high school mentality. And before you know it, 40 years passes by, you're retired, and you're still following the follower, because you're 65 years old and you're hanging out with the same people who were thinking like they were when they were 17, criticizing people. I remember one time I was at a get together with family, and I saw this man that was being criticized and ridiculed, and he was being told, you're this, you're that. And then I remember like they were doing coke, they were doing cocaine, and I talked to that man personally, face to face, and I said, are you okay with that, the way that they talk to you? Are you cool with that? No, it's because they've been my friends since we were kids. You know, they've been my friends since we were 10 years old. And I was like, so that you give them permission to talk to you that way, you know? And I told them, I see something better in you than that. I see something better in you. I know you're better than that. And it's so sad how sometimes people, they can put you down, even if they're really good friends. But I see something good in you. You're a good man. And he started to tear up a little bit. And then I was like, he's like, oh, thanks. Like even his high went away. Like his cocaine high, he was like this. He was like all coked out, and all of a sudden he's like, what? And that's just the power of your words. You know, you could even get a freaking guy out of coke, of a high. And then I remember like a week later, somebody like reached out to me, and they're like, hey, what did you say to, I don't want to say the name, but what did you say to so and so? And I was like, I just talked to him, and I just said, you know, what I saw in him, and because he says that he still remembers you. And that was the first time I ever met him. And this man was probably like almost 60 years old. And it was just so sad that, you know, you get to that age and you're so lost. And when I told him that, he was just honestly moved. He wanted to cry, but his macho was too strong. He's like, oh, I can't cry. I can't cry. But he couldn't believe the words that came out of my mouth and what I told him, because he probably had never been praised his whole life. And that's so sad how a lot of grown men, they are still boys. They're still boys that have not been healed yet. They're still got that anger. They still got that mask that they still haven't taken off, because there's a lot of anger behind that mask. There's a lot of tears. But really what there is behind all that is just a little boy who needs a hug and who needs to be loved. It's so fucking unfortunate that we have a lot of men who have that, you know, like, whatever, fool. Like, and you can tell that they're suffering, but they will never admit it. They would rather die than try to heal that boy that's inside. They want to keep that boy in there and suffer. And you know what? It's unfortunate because then that leads to like anxiety, depression, heart disease, diabetes, a lot of these illnesses. Why? Because they never wanted to heal that boy. They never wanted to admit, hey, I want to change. No, I don't want to change. My friends will make fun of me. We're more worried about what will my friends say about me than us living a happy life. It's a damn shame.
Many times, yeah, exactly. We live like in third person. One of my masters used to say, we live in third person, only thinking what other people thinking about us, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that reminds me of Jay Shetty, how he says, I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. So we're living in a world of a perception of another person's perception that might not even be real. But I think what I think you think I am. And that's so, because we're like, oh man, did I just, man, I was dancing and my friend looked at me. He probably thinks I'm gay, or he probably thinks I'm stupid, or and we're living and your friend maybe saw you and he's like, maybe he made a face because somebody farted or something. And, but you thought that he was looking at you and making fun of you. Or like, what? But imagine if you just didn't give a damn, if you just didn't care about what anybody said, or even if they gave you a look of like, what? Because sometimes our moment, it could be like we're 5 years old and somebody makes a face like, what? And that stops us from like even being a dancer or a singer or an actor, because of that one moment, that one decisive moment that we saw somebody that looked at us like, and you're like, ooh, never going to do that again. Ooh, that was embarrassing. And then from, like, I'll give you an example. This guy that he was, when he was 5 years old, he was playing the drums and he was going crazy, like, yelling and stuff. And then his mom, who he loved a lot, said, you look like a clown. And then he went, oh. And from that day forth, he never played the drums again because he didn't want his mom to think that he was a clown. But imagine if his mom would have said, son, you play the drums like so amazing. You're like going to be the next rock star. Maybe he would have been a rock star. What if his mom would have said that? But you know what? What if doesn't exist? What if? We'll never know. And then he'll probably take his goals and dreams with him to the grave because of that one decisive moment where somebody told him, you look like a clown, instead of, you look like a rock star, man. You're the next rock star. Maybe he would have been playing, maybe.
It's really important what we say and who we believe to, right? And yeah. I know you do like many speaking also at schools, and I see your videos. I know that you're a parent yourself. What do you think is a great how do you say, a great parent, like on your terms? Or
man, well, hey, I'm still working on it, man. I'm not perfect. Every now and then I do mess up. Like I do things, that I'm not too proud of. Like every now and then, I'll yell, or I get upset, and but I have to like control myself too, So I'm not perfect, but I think that the most important thing is loving your kids, loving them unconditionally, which at times for me has been hard because, sometimes like I've been conditioned myself, and, sometimes that old me pops up and, wants to stop my son from doing a certain thing. And I'm like, whoa. So, and I teach my son things like when we go to sleep, I tell him, God, take care of my son. May he always follow what his heart desires. May he always do whatever he wants. And may he respect people, be a loving person, a helping person. And I say, and may he always do what he wants to do, even if it's me that tells him not to do it, to always follow his dreams. And sometimes he'll be like, hey, no, don't do that, son. Dad, you told me I could do whatever I want, remember? And I'm like, you're right. Go do that. Like, I don't want me to even stop him from doing whatever he wants to do. And so Like I'm always telling him, hey man, like you follow your goals and your dreams, no matter what. Even if I try to stop you, even if I tell you something to say to stop you, don't listen to me, man. Don't listen. Listen to your heart. Follow what you want to do. And at times, man, he'll surprise me. Like he's taught me. Oh, like the other day we were playing basketball, and I tried to I was just shooting, and he's like, Dad, why can't you dunk the ball? And I said, I just can't. I mean, I've been trying to, but I can't. He's like, Dad, you're telling yourself you can't. That means you can't. And he's like, maybe you can do some exercise so you can jump and dunk it. I'm like, you're right. I'll try it. So he teaches me too, man. So he keeps me grounded. He keeps me humble. He keeps me, to be a better human being. And, I hope that I can pass that on to him, where he'll be a good human being, and he will teach a lot of people how to be good human beings. Because honestly, it's hard sometimes, because the way he thinks, a lot of the kids at school, there's a lot of followers, man. And it's like, it can be hard, because sometimes my kid, he has been bullied. Certain things have happened where he's kind of like left out because he's different, and a lot of these kids I've seen that, man, they talk just like the followers, man. And I'm like, no, man. So yeah, I mean, it's just, hey, I'm trying to be a better version of myself than what I was yesterday. I don't compare myself to other people. I've fallen into that where I would compare myself to other people. I mean, just a little bit ago, I've been getting over that, and it takes a lot to really not compare yourself to other people, because you see these other people that are doing like bigger things than you are. But it's like, you can't compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 20, because they've already done a lot of stuff that maybe you haven't done yet. So don't ever compare yourself to other people, because that could be the biggest dream killer. Because when you compare yourself to other people's success, you'll feel like your success is not good enough, and you'll feel like not worthy of what your goals and dreams, like to follow your goals and dreams.
Some amazing stuff. I did that question also because in July I'll become a father. So
Oh, cool.
It's always good to be prepared. I think that's my philosophy.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Hey, dude, it's an amazing. Honestly, being a father is the best thing in the world, and I know you're going to be a great dad, man. Especially because you're doing that internal work, which a lot of dads don't do, man. So, dude, it's going to be really cool, man, for him to learn from such a great man like yourself.
Try to do my best. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And it's true. I really work a lot on myself, and been working on myself last 12, 13 years. Nice. And on my way, you know how it is. You start like Les Brown was one of the huge impacts on me too. That's a great guy. He says, I was hungry, like, he's also funny, right? Not only like energetic, but also funny.
Really funny, man. His laugh is hilarious, man. Just his laugh alone makes me laugh.
Exactly. So yeah, one of the important things were the coaches I had. So what do you think, how can we find good coaches? What are the criteria of finding a good coach in your opinion?
Well, I think first of all, getting the experience first of a coaching session. I like to always coach my clients first so they can see how powerful I'm going to coach them, so that they can see the value I have to provide, and see what they have to give you. Actually getting on a session with them and seeing what they're all about, because you really don't know how they coach until they actually coach you. A lot of people feel like because they have all this shiny stuff and because they got a lot of the funnels going and all, sometimes those coaches, they just know how to market. And you know what? Marketing is very important. Yeah, I agree. And that's something that I'm working on more, because with my sales coach and with my business coach, we're working on more of the marketing. And I've been getting there more, working on all those things that a lot of people are doing. But the most important thing is really get to knowing that person and really seeing their authenticity, and that they're willing to be transparent. Because I've learned that by me just being very transparent, the clients are very transparent. And when they're really transparent, that's when we can open up that gate of okay, what are your fears? And then they start to share, and that's how I can serve them even more powerfully.
Some great stuff. Amazing. So what's coming next for Andres Ruiz? What are your next projects?
So right now, pretty much what I'm working on is I'm working on some coaching like group coaching. And then also I'm going to be working on creating some programs to help other people who want to become coaches. And it's pretty much going to be like teaching people how to coach powerfully, creating an irresistible offer, and how to get clients, which I think like those are the three biggest things that a lot of people have a lot of struggles with, is like even knowing how to coach. Like, for example, today, the session that I had, the woman was like, wow, like the way you coach is so much different than what I'm learning from another academy. And you're so laid back, casual, very authentic, and it's not so intense. You know, like there's some coaching courses that they go with the circle of life and they do all these things that it almost feels like it's scripted. So it's more like, you know, being more casual and showing people how to be powerful coaches, and then learning how to create their offers. A lot of people are struggling with creating their offers, and they're feeling like, how much should I charge? What should I offer? What kind of packaging? And then the last one is getting clients. Like that's the program that I'm going to be working on. And then I've also been working on a book called Morning Warrior Secrets, and that one right there is kind of, so you know, I've been talking to my coach, and we're kind of thinking like, you know, right now maybe focusing more on the coaching side of things, and then we can focus on the book. But I really also want to get that book out soon. So right now I've been kind of like, because see, that's the good thing about coaching. They tell you, okay, you want to do the shiny object things, but really this is what's going to get you more money, or this is what's going to help you grow. So sometimes you got to be like, okay, do I want the shiny object, or should I work on what's more important? So right now, hey man, you know, sometimes you got to pivot, you got to do different things. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on this first, because right now people are really asking for more of like, how do I become a coach? How do I coach powerfully? How do I create an offer? How do I get clients? So, hey man, things sometimes change, and it's okay. You know, I gotta change it to what will help my business grow.
That's great. How can you manage like your professional life? Because I see you're really, really busy, and your
Yeah.
private life.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, it's like the calendar. Just got to write down your calendar, making sure you're putting everything, like, you know, even family time, dinner time, lunch time. I put all these things in there, man. And, you know, time with my wife, or time with my kids, time with other relatives. I just make sure that I have my calendar. And if people say, hey, Andres, you want to come over on Saturday? Nah, I can't. I am actually going to be spending time with my family hiking. And, oh, come on, man. Like, it's because so-and-so's birthday. Hey, you just told me today, so I'm gonna go hiking. But thanks anyways. You know, that's what happens sometimes. We have plans, and then because somebody else tells us, hey, we're gonna have a party, come on, and then we end up like, oh, let's go. We got to go to them because, you know, they're our family. No. You got to take care of you first. So
We
yeah,
are
just
always
calendar.
we are always tempted, right?
Oh yeah, all the time, man. Sometimes, and I fall into temptation. Sometimes I'm not like I said, I'm not perfect, man. Sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
I do stuff that, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, but oh well.
So, what is your leisure? What's your hobby that keeps you down, except meditation or time with your family? Do you have anything where you say, "Hey, this is time
Um,
for me"?
Basketball, like shooting hoops with my son. Basketball and soccer. We have a court in the backyard for soccer, and then we play with the basketball court. So yeah, man, I love basketball, man. Whew, I love basketball.
Amazing. How important is that to keep a kind of balance?
Oh, huge, huge. Because you know what? You got to sometimes get out of this, like, you know, because sometimes I could be a little bit too uptight and I'd be like really focused on the work. But sometimes you got to have a little bit of fun, man, and go out there and shoot some hoops, play some soccer, you know, wrestle with the kids a little bit, or do things like that, you know. So you got to definitely throw in some fun. The fun is very important. It's crucial in order for you to keep your mind right, because if you're always into the work, you get overwhelmed, anxiety, you get pissed, you start reacting to people, and you're like, man, this is not me. I'm acting like a grump, you know. So balance is huge. That's why I like eating healthy. Man, I mean, shoot, I got my vitamins. Like, you know, I gotta take my vitamins. I gotta drink my water. I gotta do everything, man. And it's already a habit. Like it's instilled. It's a lifestyle, and I love it because I see the energy that I have, you know. And I mean, man, I've been up since 3 a.m. today, and I'm on fire, man. And that's because of my routine, you know.
I really feel it, and that's amazing for what you shared with us. Like I think it's almost 1 hour now in this interview. So
Awesome.
how can people find you?
Yeah, so you can look me up on Facebook. My profile is Andres Ruiz. I also have two pages called I Believe in Myself and I Believe in Myself Español. And also, you can find me on Instagram. I Believe in Myself Coaching. I don't do too much with Instagram. On LinkedIn as well, Andres Ruiz. I also have a YouTube channel called Transformational Motivation, and that's with me saying, giving people tips. And then I also have a channel with my boys, Motivational K and D, Motivational Kid and Dad, where we give some tips to the younger audience, and so that they can have a more positive life. I mean, that just my kids. He just wanted to do it, so it's pretty cool to do it with my son because he's doing something that I love. So I spend quality time with him, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing the work that I love.
That sounds amazing. A lot of stuff going on. That's
Yeah,
really great.
yeah,
So, yo, the people watching, go ahead and take a look for Andres Ruiz. Andres, one more time, I want to thank you for taking the time to share with us this huge inspiration, your experience, your story, and your
thank
knowledge
you.
that you created in this field. So,
Thank
thank
you.
you
I
once
appreciate you,
again.
brother. Like, I appreciate what you're doing, man, because you know what? I always love meeting people like you who are always willing to grow and who are always working on themselves because, like you and I, this conversation, man, we could have it for hours, but because we already are on the same level, we're in the same, how can I say, like, we're just dialed in. A lot of people, if you talk to them about this stuff, they're weirded out. They're like, what is this guy talking about? This is weird. But when I talk to a man like you, it's always a great conversation, man, because you know what, like, you understand this stuff, and when you understand this stuff, man, it just makes the conversation a lot more powerful.
Thank you very much, Andres. And now I want to thank all one more time the watchers who is watching us and taking the time. And if you have any kind of issue or you want to talk about confidence, believe in yourself, go ahead. You can contact Andres Ruiz, or you
Yeah,
could contact Erid, or send an email to eridmusic@gmail.com. And remember to believe in yourself. Thank you very
yeah.
much. Thank you, Andres. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, brother. Peace.
Please write down in the comments below what was your biggest takeaway from this interview. If you're working on yourself, on your self-esteem, on your inner confidence, on your social skills, on your video presence, I offer one-to-one coaching and consulting sessions. Go on my Facebook page and write me a message or send me an email at eridmusic@gmail.com. And on Facebook, on my page Erid, on the review session, you can see what people say about my coaching. Jerry says, Erid is a nice and reliable person with great people skills. I definitely recommend him as a coach. Or Brett says, I was trying to improve my confidence and Erid helped me with this. He helped me to see that I have already achieved many things. I found Erid to be friendly, supportive, and encouraging. Thank you, Erid, for your time and your guidance. All the best, Brett, Australia.